Okay. Well, thank you, panelists, and Greg for coming. I guess you're a panelist too.
You bet.
One of you panelists can read the comments, because if I try to do that, I'm going to lose it. Okay. So we don't want that.
No.
Okay. So I appreciate our wonderful, amazing guests that we have tonight. We have Kristen Brunius and Lisa Tucker, who are amazing soul specialists, soul elite specialists, and members of the top 30 in the company. So we're very blessed to have them with us. And of course, we have our great president of the company, Mr. Greg Halliday, and that Mr. I never call you Mr., do I?
It's okay. And except for all the times my kids don't.
So anyway, as you can tell, Greg is an amazing person. He's been a longtime friend of mine and really created a company that is a family, because that's just who he is. So I'm going to get right into it because we're starting a little late. Sorry, Greg.
Oh, no problem.
And thank your family for letting you do this for our team. That's oh, there you are again, Lisa. Okay, this is fun. It's called learning on the job. Growth, it's always fun. So anyway, you've heard it said that hindsight is 20/20, and we're gonna, there we go. That's probably Satinka, isn't it? Yeah. So we are going to be talking about 2020 vision tonight. Since we're in the year 2020, I thought it was appropriate. And we're going to be looking back, we're going to look at the present, we're going to look at the future, and kind of give you a bird's eye view of the history of soul from the man himself. So thanks, Greg. Are you ready to get started? Can I ask you a few questions?
Yes, and thank you for inviting me, and I just love being here. And I wish I could stay and hear all of you. So I just want to apologize up front for being here for a time and then moving on, because I'm going to feel cheated because I didn't get to hear. But you're recording this, right?
I am recording this, yes.
Awesome.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So, okay, let me get my brain in gear. I think I might have a sip of cinnamate, if you don't mind.
Hey, that's how you do Zooms. That's how I do them.
Yes, exactly. So I know that you have, Greg, a great passion for health, and you have personally used herbs, your family has used herbs, so many people that you love have used herbs, and really felt transformation in their lives about it. And I know that we live in a modern world that has so many stressors that we didn't even think about 20 years ago. You know, the modern world has a lot of unique things happening in it, and it's manifest in kind of our bodies and our minds, how they function. And so I know that bringing herbs to the world that can address our modern day problems was big for you. And what I love about Soul is that the formulations they're cutting edge knowledge. So they're for the modern world, but you never let go of the roots of true herbalism and true herbal healing. And I love that about Soul. But I also know you well enough to know that you are really passionate about helping people live a life they love and being financially independent too, if that's what they choose to do. So if you could just give us a little nutshell version of your vision, what started the company, and how that all fit together for you.
Absolutely, Denise. And it's so hard to do in a nutshell.
I know.
But you gave me some thoughts in the way you explained that. And there are kind of two related areas but they're related because I think that the health things that you alluded to, they're the reason that my life and many of the people I know are vastly different than they would be had someone not cared enough to share that there are natural solutions to things that we don't think are solvable. And one of the lessons that we learned along the way that contributed to founding Soul was that not only does nutrition make a big change in us physically, but our emotional and our stress response and our mental, let's just say, health and capacity and progress is just as receptive to nutrition. It's just as receptive as any other part of us. That is one mission we feel really strongly. If every household, every sort of nook of the world, of the community could see that and hear from those panelists we're looking at tonight, just even for a few minutes, it really would change, I'm convinced, every single household and the course of how people enjoy life. So that's like one part of it to me, is the reality of solutions for these problems that you alluded to that are unique to our time. And Soul Formulas, yes, that was the reason we founded. Every formula, no matter what its purpose is, has ingredients both for physical nutrition and also for emotional and mental. And when that happens, we see different changes and we see better what? I apologize. I went and ate a little bit of food right before, but we see better results and things that we didn't think we could improve. So that's one thing. The other part about that is just that being around this type of business for my entire career, which is, excuse me, almost 30 years, a long time ago, I became convinced of the power of business ownership for people and how that can change how they feel, what their future is like. And with a model like this, which is relationship marketing, I love that way of describing it. It has a lot of names. Everyone can start in that. That's the thing. And that's what I became convinced in. It's something that has no real barrier except those barriers we might put up in our own mind, which thankfully you just get someone who feels that way around one of you. And if they'll listen long enough, I think they'll change, because you know what, it changed me. I was one of those. I'm grateful for a friend 30 years ago who didn't back off to my hesitancy to believe that herbs could actually do something, and who also didn't back off to my hesitancy that this style of business was maybe as prestigious as any others. Now I'm at the complete opposite end of the spectrum. I see it as sort of the ultimate manifestation of what personal power every human being has in them and every household can have. And it's so wonderful because it isn't a quick change thing. It responds to the same timeless principles of work and dedication and commitment and true mentoring, true partnering that would make any type of business successful. And yet it's available for everyone. So I agree, Denise. These are the passions that drive us and me and all of us at Soul.
Yes. And I know you have a story that you would love to tell that we don't have time to tell about your lovely wife, Donna, who I adore, and her journey with the herbs. And that's really what was one of the big inspirations to actually do it, because you had to solve problems for yourself.
Yeah, was, sorry for jumping in, Denise, but without telling the story, it was the ultimate inspiration for the first formula for Adaptable and Soul Vital, kind of around which we built the principle of body and mind nutrition in every product based on adaptogens. It really was what Donna went through. Yeah.
Right. And I know we're doing a real cursory overview tonight, but if anybody as our guest, feel free to get with your specialist, because they're definitely going to be able to get you more information. So, I personally love, I think, relationship marketing, network marketing, whatever you want to call it. Ours is actually more of an integrative plan. But that being said, it is a beautiful model. And for those reasons that you said, because of that barrier of entry, because anybody who has the desire can do it. So, and I think it's interesting. I was thinking as I was preparing for this, and I hadn't thought of it when I invited these two wonderful ladies on with us tonight, but each of us has such a very different background where we came from. And so that's kind of cool too. It just shows that it is for everybody. Okay, so we're in the year 2020, and what would you say, Solle is definitely in a big growth phase right now. And so just give us another nutshell version of what's going on with Solle, where we've come from the beginning, that sort of thing.
Well, I think you said it, Denise. Solle has progressed every year. It's been wonderful because Solle was not one of these things that was sort of imagined in a certain way to hit with a certain, I don't know, market splash. It was something that came because of real life experiences and real opportunities, and was formed along the way. The product line really wasn't completed for a few years because no scientists anywhere, no labs were doing what we do. It's really been, it's taken that type of progress. And I think Solle's progress is the same as a company because the way our compensation plan is, we even being where we are, Utah-based, lots and lots of companies of this style are here, and all the back-end support you can imagine with computer technology. Nobody thought you, for instance, you could build a compensation system the way we did, because it's a different structure. And it just, to be honest, the way I summarize it now, it is a structure that gives you more freedom to customize to the way you're going to do business, and along the way lets it maximize instead of forcing you. Because so many models over the last 30 and 50 years, and we can go further back, but they got even more narrow. Let's just call it in the last 30 or 40 years when the market really expanded. They were geared in terms of the business side to either give you a lot up front, but very little as your business expands over decades. You're making much, much less. So they either paid a lot directly, but not much with the result of growth over time, or it was the opposite. You had to just live with very little up front but have patience and over time. So it's a different concept that Solle's was set up to always look at your organization and adapt the pay to where you're at. And that when you tell that to someone for the first time, they're kind of like, what? But to make it very simple, that is exactly what the SmartPlan does. So I would say Solle has been along the way because we've gone on some pathways that were new ground for the industry. It has been a measured growth every year. And what we're starting to see now in our 7th year is that's picking up because more people, wonderful leaders like you, kind of have mastered the concept of how it works. I mean, none of us ever feel like we master everything. We always learn, but to a degree, there's a lot of mastery of how this works and how you know how to point people into a good path. That's what I think is changing, Denise. And so for instance, this year, last part of that answer would be, we're ready for Mexico. We have a lot of, obviously in the United States, we have a lot of neighbors in Canada, and we have a lot of neighbors in Mexico because they're 2 countries that connect to us. And so we're making a big move to formalize that connection in Mexico. And so, yeah, that's another piece of what's happening this year too.
Yeah, that's great, because I know you've always had a vision that the company will be an international company. It will be the premier herb company in the world. And I love that vision because who doesn't want to be the best, right?
Right.
And another thing I love about it is one of the keys of being able to have a successful network marketing business is having something that is unique and having something that's simple. So Solle does both of those things. They are very unique. And like you said, nothing like it. And it is a very simple system to use. The products are simple, color-coded in a system. And so you don't have to be a professional herbalist to do it, you know. So I really love those aspects about Solle. So tell us now, what drives you to continually expand your vision for Solle? And can you give us a few glimpses into what you see for the future of Solle?
Well, you all drive us. We have that internal vision, and which led us to found it. But we could not be more, what's the word? Proud just sounds like the wrong word, because it's it is that. We're just so happy and honored, okay, at the type of people who have attracted to Solle and the type of leadership we see from all of you. And so the fact, Denise, you know this in the other panels, we just really believe, we always have, in the principles that we're talking about. They're not more than a deep belief system. So naturally, if you do believe in that, why would you ever say, well, we think it fits here, but not there? This is something for everyone. And really, the company is made up, as you look at the company to this point, you see full-time, really professionals who are so impressive. You see people that love what it's doing for them in terms of the health and product, and they love a part-time involvement, and they can do really well with that as well. So what I see is just a continuation where the company continues to innovate with products, not in a proliferation of huge numbers, but there's more learning that's happening in this whole area of adaptogens, and in how our bodies respond to the unique challenges of today, which there will probably be some others in 5 and 10 years. That's our premise, is to be there and for people where it's needed, and make a change that's not just a symptomatic thing, but really is a core life, health, enjoyment change. And so because of that, there's no stopping point. There just isn't.
Right.
So anyway, I don't know if that answered your question.
Yeah. Yeah. And then on the business side of things, we know it's so hard for us to to not talk about our great products, you know, because they are amazing and they are unique. And like you touched on, our comp plan is so unique too. I think because you touched on the fact that the newcomer can get some right up front wins, because they can get bonuses. And then the person who has built a team also has that stable residual income and access to the bonuses too. So it covers all the bases. It's not for one or the other. It's more like you could be a hobbyist or you could be a business builder. You know, it has something to offer everybody. So, absolutely. And I'm sure that was in your mind when you were developing the plan.
Yeah, absolutely. Because Solle was from the beginning a legacy planned company, meaning that what we want, the greatest success for us would be that you're all seeing your kids or heirs, or, you know, in other words, when you get to the point where it's not a lot of hours every day, although it's kind of hard not to be that way, isn't it? Because you're just helping people, but you're seeing that same vibrancy go on. We want Solle to be that 100-year, that 200-year. It plays a role, and we want it to be that. And there needs to be strength in a company to play that role, and there has to be something for all the earnest participants, whether they're, you know, professional level or whether they're, you know, just want to be part of the team.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that. And I love that we have such an amazing team. Oh, and by the way, for those of you who are guests, we have a special. I was talking to Greg, and at the end, we're not going to announce it to the end, so you need to stay on, but we have a surprise that I think you're going to want to hear about, so make sure you stick around. Let's see. Let me see here. Back to my questions. So let's talk about experience. Who do you see this business is for? Do you think that you have to have a lot of experience to do it, or have you structured like the company in such a way that there's support for the newbie and you don't have to have experience? Or
Yeah, and that was one reason for structuring the way it was, because we didn't want it to be dependent on a multi-year training just to be able to make a difference, to help somebody. And that's why the 4 colors: balance, calm, lift, and clarify, which I will admit makes it easy sometimes for some people who aren't connected to great mentors like you, like directly, easily connected, to kind of think, oh, well, and maybe not see everything in there. But it was worth that to us to make it that simple. It is for anyone. The interesting thing about it is if you have people that are very experienced, either in the area of natural healing or in multi-level marketing, if they'll look at it and really digest the compensation plan and the products, they will be equally impressed. And that's, to me, one of the evidences of something that's right and has a legacy structure. It just can't be positioned off only for a certain element, because then the whole premise falls apart, which is that everyone can benefit and everyone should be able to participate in a successful way.
And you just mentioned a legacy company. Can you tell me what that means to you? Because I love that you think of Solle as a legacy company.
Well, just a long-term view, always looking in the short term to make sure we're supporting one another. And there's always opportunity, excitement, innovation, all those things that are just natural part of a passion to really bring the best of what is there to everyone, but that you're not going to sacrifice the long-term view and the long-term strength of each and every business of the leadership and of the company ownership. So yeah, it's structured in a way that's private. I've seen good companies that got too extended in their ownership where the control was lost and people could swoop in who really didn't share that at all, or any of the passion for why the company existed, but they liked the cash flow or something about it.
Right.
And that we didn't ever want to be an issue at Solle. So that's kind of what we mean by legacy.
And to me, that is super important to know that you guys are in it for the long haul and that you have structured the company with that in mind, and to make sure that what your vision is for the company, that it remains a legacy company. And there's a lot of detail in there that we won't go into, but just to know that gives us security. So I love that. So, just in our last few minutes, I don't want to keep you from your family too much longer, but
it's actually another meeting. So you're
oh, well, I don't want to keep you from them either, but if you could just real quick tell us, so just so people can kind of have a general idea. I remember that at one of our leadership trainings, you went into great detail about how many people you'd need to help in order to be in a certain income level. Could you just give like a couple of minutes of
an overview? Yeah. Well, I thanks for bringing that up, Denise, because I actually love to express businesses in those terms, because that's what business is to us, or I know it's the same to you. It's just about people. So if people look at, say, our compensation plan, we have titles, but really an awesome way to think of titles. I'm looking for my paper here because I actually always have this sitting on my desk, just so you know. But so a different titles, like say a person wants to just be a team member. They love this. It feels good. They're not quite really at the place where they're going to be doing it full time, but they're team. So if someone wants to make, say, $200 or $300 a month, they're probably just helping 4 or 5 households of people. They're there they're connecting them when they're classes, information, that's just based upon the average purchase amounts. So that's where those numbers come from. They're based on the actual average purchases. And a household means, more than 2 people are using it, minimum. It really is just usually 2. They might be 7 or 8 individuals. If a person wants to make around $500 a month, you're probably talking 12 or 13 households, 20 or 25 individuals. That's what I'm mentoring. Mentoring doesn't mean I know everything. It just means I'm there for them, and I find the things that I don't know, and I'm hooked to a great team. You guys have such great leadership. That's solved. And then if a person is like, look, this would make a huge difference in our family. I'd like to do a little more than that, and I'd like to make a couple $1,000s a month. It gets our mortgage out of the way, and that's not even a worry anymore. Okay, you're probably talking about working it for a couple of years to build it up to 50 or 60 households and 100 people. Now, here's the interesting thing. It's not you in the 50 households. It's your whole team. So I'm going to have a team with enough people that each of us are helping those 4 or 5 households. Well, it's 10 workers on my team, not a number that should be outside anyone's capability. So I don't know if that's kind of what you're looking for, but that gives you a ballpark. And that's just sort of on the upwardly mobile side, to not even talk about the big numbers.
Oh, yeah.
And yes, they are texting me. I probably got to jump on this other one.
Okay.
So is there a final question before I jump over, Denise?
No. We appreciate your time. Thank you so much, Greg. And
you bet you.
Your next call.
Well, I'm going to get on the recording and hear the rest of you, so I don't feel cheated. Okay. But thanks for having me on.
Okay. Thanks. Yeah. Bye-bye. Yeah. So that is, I just wanted to really give a little bit of a framework for people to see really how attainable that this business is. So ladies, are you ready to answer some questions? Okay, so let's see. Lisa, why don't we start with you? Can you tell us a little, we're doing all nutshell stuff here tonight because we have so much to cover, but can you tell us a little bit about your background and why you chose to build a soul business?
Sure. Thanks for having me on the call. Most of my working years I've spent in the field of accounting, and the majority of those years I've been self-employed. So it's the type of business, if you don't work, you don't get paid. So I ran into a health crisis several years ago, and Denise, who's on the call here, introduced me to Soul Naturals. And when I heard from Greg, I understood the potential and possibility of this business. It was a no-brainer because I love helping people.
Okay, well, that was a good one. Yes, you did have a health crisis for sure. A couple of them, actually. So because of the life-changing with the products and the vision that Greg gave you, you decided to hop on. And you did from the beginning. I
did. Even though I wasn't doing very well with my health, I just knew this was something that I didn't want to miss out on.
And so tell us what your experience with network marketing has been before Soul.
I had to laugh when he was talking about that. Can anybody do this business? I am here to testify. Anyone can do this business. I had no clue whatsoever. I didn't understand network marketing. A long time ago, I had a horrible experience as an introduction to it. So I'd kind of sworn off that ever being a good idea, that I literally had no experience whatsoever.
Okay. And I can attest to that. And now she's in the top 30 of the company. Okay. So,
where did Kristen go?
Kristen, come back. I was about ready to ask you something, but we'll just continue on with you, Lisa. She'll get back here sooner or later.
She will.
So what are the top 3 things you could say that's changed about your life from building your soul team?
That, I would say the overall is it's been a very humbling experience. I have developed depth of relationship in business like no other business I have ever been in. And I have been in corporate America and never experienced anything. So I would say that's the number one. Is it feels like you get to choose your business partners and you choose your family, basically. I consider most of these people like my family. And then I would say the second thing is the residual income that you guys had mentioned before. Denise, I think you tapped on that a little bit. It's so much different than I've ever experienced in being self-employed or being an employee. I had no idea of the possibilities of residual income. And then lastly, I love to travel, and it's been such an amazing opportunity to be able to travel. I get to have a car allowance, and it's just an amazing opportunity that I did not know existed, and something that was available to me.
Right. Those perks are kind of nice, aren't they? And obviously we don't do it for the perks, but it's, we'll take them, you know? Yeah.
Right.
So good for you. Okay. So when you look at Solle and your future, what is your vision for your future and your team? And by the way, for those of you who don't know Lisa, she has built a really solid team with really great relationships, like she said. And okay, we are having fun tonight. Oh, that's okay. So what do you see as your vision for your Solle business in the future?
I had to think about that a little bit, and it would have been totally different probably in years previous, but I feel like this year it's all about keeping it simple and really having my team keep it simple, because honestly, I feel like that is the key to freedom with your health, with your finances, with your time. So I think that is my mantra and vision for this year, is keep it simple.
I love that. I actually really love that. We all love that, right? Because the beauty of keeping things simple is that it allows other people to do the same thing, right? And so if you have a simple system to show people how to do it, then they can do it too. And that's really our heart, is helping other people. We love getting all the perks and doing all the travel and all that, but really what fires us up is seeing people being able to change their lives too. So yes. I love that, Lisa. Okay, Kristen, you're up. And there's only one of you now. This has been
just a few little technical problems. I think my kids were using up all my Wi-Fi and I got kicked off. I'm like, joys of working from home.
Yes, yes. So so we have Lisa, who had zero network marketing experience, in fact a negative mindset towards it in the beginning. And then we have Kristen, who has lots of experience with network marketing even before Solle. Mm-hmm. And so can you tell us a little bit about your background and, you know, what made you choose Solle? Because Solle is your home. I know that because I know you. And what made Solle your home?
So to back up a little bit, I went to school to be a teacher. And I was a teacher for 4 years. The year that I graduated, everyone and their mother graduated as a teacher. So jobs were few and far between. So in 4 years, I worked 4 different positions. And then I was laid off because the class size was shrinking.
Uh-oh.
And I was pregnant at the time, and little did I know. Did I freeze again?
Uh-huh.
Am I there?
You're
oh,
fine
dear.
Now. Yeah, fine.
Little did I know that I would have 3 kids in 3 years. And the thought of teaching through that was a little bit crazy. I also had gained quite a bit of weight when I was pregnant. So I decided to get into the health and fitness industry. Didn't realize it was a network marketing company. And lo and behold, spent the next 5 years with that company. And so I sort of actually stumbled into network marketing, didn't really realize that that's what it was when I started, but I fell in love with it. because there was really no other job that, when I had a 2-year-old, a 1-year-old, and was pregnant, that, if I had morning sickness, I could rest and work later on in the day, or if there was an emergency. So I love the flexibility of it, and I'm a naturally driven person. And so network marketing is just a great fit for me. I don't think I could ever go back to having a boss ever, ever, ever again. Just because I'm driven, and I like having my own schedule. So that's what drew me into network marketing and got me to stay in network marketing. But what I started to notice with my first company that I spent 5 years with was that I just wasn't fully satisfied. The compensation plan, which I love that Greg pointed this out, was that as I got higher and higher up in the ranks, I wasn't making as much money as you would have thought that I would have been making with that many people. And it was a kind of a reflection of what Greg said, where some companies are set up where you have really fast success, and then as you move up, the income kind of slows down, or vice versa. And I had experienced that. I'd also experienced things like being stuck on an inside leg, is what we would call it. Inactive upline. Certain people in my downline were inactive, and they would almost act as boulders. And ultimately, I also faced a health crisis. And so, my health crisis led to me researching what in the world I could do. And that Google search led me to Soul Naturals. I knew no one. It was literally a Friday night, and by Monday morning, I was calling the company, and I knew no one. And I just fell in love with the compensation plan, and I hadn't even tried the products yet, but had read enough that I was convinced, and I went for it. And I've never looked back.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very unique place to be.
It is.
So, okay, so you told us so what would you say, because, your previous work was a network marketing company. How has your life changed? Like the top 3 things in your life, just bullet point those for, since you've been with Soul.
Yeah, for sure. So number 1 would definitely be my mental and physical health. I'm in better shape than I've ever been in my life, and not in a fitness sort of way, but in a mental, holistic sort of way. I've struggled with anxiety forever, and that is something that Soul has really helped me with. Number 2 is confidence. I feel like I am emerging as a butterfly year after year. The longer I'm in Soul, the more who I really am on the inside is coming out. And, just in this mere 2 years I've been here, I just feel like I'm morphing and becoming more and more the true Kristen that I know I am, and with confidence. And then number 3 would definitely be lifestyle. The income is incredible, but not just the income, what you were able to do with the income. My dream has always been to travel. And, not necessarily fancy, but I'm talking campgrounds in the summertime, going to visit friends, and just having the time freedom and the financial freedom to pick up and go has been my lifelong dream, and I'm living it. And that's the best of everything.
Yes, I totally agree. I totally agree with the travel thing. I think we can all agree on the travel thing.
Yes, yes. There is no other company where you travel more than with Soul.
I know, isn't it great? It's just like, oh. Anyway, let's see. And actually, on that note, like my granddaughters have been, because they have traveled with Soul too, which is really great because this is such a family company. It's like, of course, when you earn a trip, they're not going to pay for your kids to come, but they allow them to come, And so my granddaughters, I think they're like 8 and 7, and they've been in, I think, 5 different countries already. So it's so exciting. I love it.
Yeah, and it's even for my kids, they've been to Canada, they've been to Cancun, they've been to Utah, they've been all over the place just in the 2 years that I've been.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's awesome.
It is awesome. Okay. And on that note, really quick, because I know we're running out of time, it's not only for the top 30 in the company, because Greg, being such a family man and wanting to include people, he has ways to include even the ranks that are not in the elite group to go on these trips. So it's so amazing. And that way we get to have our teams with us. So it's so fun. So what does your vision for your future with Solle and your team look like?
My biggest vision for my life is time freedom. And that's the goal that I want to achieve for everybody. But it's so funny that Lisa said, what did you say? Keep it simple. And my theme for the year has been back to basics. Which is sort of the same idea, because Solle is such a simple model. There's 4 lines. The compensation plan is super simple. I mean, it's back to basics. And so my vision for my team is to watch them step up as leaders and have me kind of fade into the background and see their growth and see who they can become, and have them feel that that time freedom, because really that's more valuable than financial freedom. You can always make more money, you can always spend more money, but you can never get time back. And that is what is so important to me with Solle, is it gives you time freedom. And so that's my dream for the team.
Yay. I love that. Yes, it's true. Time is fixed. Yes, there's always ways to earn more money. So, okay, since I'm going to come back to you, Lisa, but since I'm here with you, Kristen, go ahead and what would you say, like one nugget would you give to our guests that are here tonight that are maybe like on the fence, like, yeah, I'm thinking about it, but I'm not sure. What would you say to those people?
I almost want to jump out of my seat when I say this, but for real, just do it. Just do it. If you guys heard my story about finding this on Google, signing up, never having tried the products, I took the biggest risk, but I knew it. I knew that it was a risk, but I knew it was right. And, I signed up in September. By January, I was in the top 30 of the company. I'm not saying that's going to happen for everybody, but if I hadn't taken that risk, and for so many of you guys, I live in the Midwest, and there was nobody out here. There was nobody, and it was such an advantage. And for those people who are in Canada, I know we have a lot of Canadians on tonight. I mean, for those of you who are in Canada, it's such an amazing opportunity, and really anywhere in the United States, Canada, or Mexico, but just do it. What do you have to lose?
Exactly.
It's a one-time fee, and there's no monthly fees.
Right. And Solle is a baby company, really, so what better time is there to do it than now, right? And
well, one more thing, and I'll be quiet because I get really excited about this.
I know you do.
I always tell people Solle is like a new company that has all the kinks worked out. So it's not like you're jumping in to a company in its first 5 years where they're still kind of figuring out the compensation plan and they're figuring out the products and the things like that. All of those kinks are worked out. We're 7, 8 years in now. We're ready to launch, and growth is happening now. And I tell people, could you imagine if you had joined Mary Kay in the first 10 years of business, where you'd be right now, or any of these companies?
Right.
And so the timing is right. You don't have anything to lose. Just do it. That would be what I would say. I'll be quiet.
That's great advice. Thank you so much. And we'll come over to you, Lisa, now. And one thing I do want to add is, like, the reason it was a risk for Kristen, is because you had to give up what you had built, like to come over here. So when somebody's just starting out, it's not really a risk. I mean, in fact, I had a brick and mortar business. You know, the risks you take as a brick and mortar business owner are everything. You know, it's all on you. Where here, Soul is the one who takes all that off your plate, and there's really no risk to start. You know, unless you are one that has built a network marketing business and you have to give it up. That would be the time, that about the only time I can think that that would really be a risk. So, okay, Lisa, what do you think?
It's so funny because my first thought is just do it. Just do it. You know, when Kristen said that, I'm like, yes. But my underlying factor, and I think it's because I know I walked through this and I know so many people walk through this. I would say just do it. Don't overthink it. And don't allow fear to be bondage, because I know so many people are driven by fear. They're afraid and blah, name out the whole list of reasons why they're afraid to do it. And that you will never fully reach your potential walking in fear and making your decisions based on fear. And really what you guys are saying, there's no risk. There's nothing to be afraid of, you know, just do it. And I remember reading one time in a book, I don't even know what book, but it talked about people that jump in, typically without overthinking, without fear, just jumping in, especially to entrepreneurship, is that a word? Doing a business, are the ones that become great leaders. So you want to be a great leader? Just jump in. Don't overthink it. Just do it.
Awesome. You know, it's so amazing how all the stuff that because we're going to wrap it up now. And thank you to all you who are still on here, because you want to hear what the surprise is. I hope that's not the only reason, but anyway, we are going to wrap it up, but it's so amazing how everything you guys said is really flowing right into where I wanted to wrap it up. And so first of all, I want to give our guests kudos for being here, because there's like thousands of other things you could be doing right now. I mean, literally, that is our modern world, right? And so kudos to you for being growth-minded, like, oh, I want to learn something. I want to change my life. You're proactive. And that is exactly the kind of person that really has the potential for success in a business like Soul. And so again, thank you for being with us. And so you may have thoughts rolling around in your head right now, like whether I should do it, whether I shouldn't. Yes, just do it. But, you know, and you might be one of those, yeah, I am in, I see the vision. I want to be part of something that's greater than myself. You know, I want to contribute to the world. And that's great, because it's been proven that decisive people are successful because they make a decision and they just do it. But you also might have some other thoughts running around in your head, like Lisa was talking about the fear, because, you know, think about the most successful business person you can think of right now. And I guarantee you that from time to time, they have limiting beliefs rolling around in their head. It's human. So if you have those thoughts, don't think there's something wrong with you. There's not. It's just the way we are. But we can learn how to change those limiting beliefs, because really what those are is it's your brain's way of keeping the status quo, keeps you in the box you're in, and it keeps you from your dreams, and it keeps you from your goals. And so like Kristen talked about morphing, you know, becoming this butterfly. that is so true. I don't know of another place that you can go, whether it be a job, a business, an organization, where you are going to be tested and you are going to grow. So if you want to grow, we have the team for you. And, you know, like I said, Greg has something special. So, but in order to get the something special, you need to make the decision, and you have to call the office tomorrow, because it's not on the website. It's just for us. You know, he did it as a favor to me when I asked him. And so it's a very special thing that he's offering. And let's see, I made some notes because I didn't want to forget things. I get, in case you haven't noticed, on rabbit trails. So anyway, I did want to tell you, you know, I had a brick and mortar business for 21 years. And the investment it takes to start a brick and mortar business is a lot larger than the investment it takes to start a Solle business. So for me to think I could go into a retail store and fill it up for $1,000 investment would be ludicrous. Okay, that would never happen. However, hello. But for a Solle business, if you invested $1,000 in a Solle business, you would be able to experience pretty much the entire line of what Solle has to offer. You would be totally stocked for $1,000. So I just wanted to bring the difference in between, again, the risk and the expense and everything for starting a Solle business. But the cool thing about it is you don't even need to invest $1,000. And tonight, with our special surprise from Greg, it even sweetens the pot a little more. So I don't know, does anybody, let me see in the comments, does anybody want to know what the surprise is? I don't know. Let's see. I'll have to see if they want to see what it is. Yes. Oh, yes. Okay. Can I tell you now? So, all righty. We're waiting. Okay. Got it. So tonight, this goes for new signups on Specialist, or if you're a member who loves the products and can't help sharing, so why not earn some more money? And because you're going to tell people anyway, then we have this special offer for you. So generally speaking, we offer a $25 gift card to people who enroll as specialists. So for their first order, we'll give them $25 off. And so that's awesome, but we have something better than that even. So in lieu of the card, you get to pick on a $250 order, whether you're upgrading or whether you're becoming a new specialist. On a $250 order, you get to pick a free product. Do you know that one of our products is $59.95? So that is up to a $60 product. And yeah, wow, that's cool, huh? So remember, get with your specialist as soon as you can, because, well, tomorrow, it's gone tomorrow. And it has to be during office hours because you have to call it in. It's not on the website, okay? It's a very special offer for us. So I want to leave you with a quote, and it kind of ties into what Kristen was talking about the growth. And I too have experienced, all of us panelists on this, and many of the people in the audience too, your specialists who invited you, have experienced so much growth because of this business. So it is really about becoming, it is literally, what is the surprise? Oh, poor thing. The surprise is you get to pick a free product if you're upgrading from a member to a specialist with a $250 order, or you're enrolling as a new specialist. That would be your $100 kit and a minimum of $150 order, which is nothing to start a business. Okay. So this business really is about becoming the best version of ourselves. And I think sometimes we think about that as more of, I need to find the magic out there somewhere. I need to find the book. I need to find the podcast. I need to find whatever the magic thing out there for you think it might be, to make me the better version of myself. And I have learned through Solle, it's been a process. I mean, I've been with Solle for like 5 years now. And it really made me realize, no, it's not out there. It's in you. You have everything you need to succeed at this business inside of you right now. And so I want to leave you with a quote. And Lisa, you know what this is because it's my favorite quote these days. Michelangelo said, in referring to the statue David, I saw the angel in the marble. Boy, I get choked up every time I read this. And carved until I set him free. You have it in you. We're here to share it with you. We're here to support you on the journey. And really, I've known Greg for 25 plus years. He's a man of integrity. He set up a company of integrity. He's going to be here for a long haul, and he truly cares. And all the founders truly care about us. And they want us to find that angel inside of each of us. And we would be so honored to walk that journey with you and help you do your carving so that you can morph into what your purpose in this world too. So we are going to sign off for now. Ladies, do you have anything parting words you want to say? Okay. All right. Thank you so much for being here. Get with your specialist right now so they can help you get that special, and just do it. All right. Thanks, guys. Take care.